What is up, everybody? Matt Modi here to give you my favorite NFL player prop picks. We're talking NFL Week 7, the Sunday specific betting slate. I'm going to have 5 total players we're backing for the Sunday slate, 3 of which we are taking for a ladder climb, 1 of which a pretty juicy ladder climb. Pretty confident in what we have for Sunday. To do a recap, so this is including Thursday Night Football. I'm recording this on Friday, going to have this video drop Friday afternoon. So this does, yes, include Thursday Night Football, which was finally a good day. We finally had a good day on Thursday night. We got Noah Fant over his receiving yardage prop. We got Chase Brown under his rushing attempts prop, and played a bunch of ridiculous plays on Darnell Washington. One of those plays included an anytime touchdown, and he ended up scoring. So that ended up working out up over 3 units, specifically on Thursday. Now, on the entire year, you're going to notice a -7 in terms of profit. That is how things have gone this year, unfortunately. Really, it all was it was all week 6 last week. If week 6 just didn't happen, if I just took the week off, we would be up on the year. But I didn't. It happened. It was bad. So working our way back in the green, lifetime NFL player props. You see that on the screen here as well, about 53 units of lifetime profit. So this week or this year has been terrible. Really, it was just one really, really bad week and then a bunch of mediocre weeks. Hopefully, we can kind of bounce back, have a really good week 7, get ourselves into the green on the year in a couple weeks. Appreciate everybody who's been rocking with me. Mostly been getting positive comments, which I really do appreciate. If you're still watching, like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the links in the description of the video. I have a link to Props Madness, link to my Tails account, which is just where I send plays out. Props Madness is a player prop tool that I think is fantastic. Also really good for NBA, which is coming back. But we can get past all that stuff, start getting into the slate on Sunday, starting with one of the plays that is not a ladder play, just straight up, Quinshon Judkins, over 84.5 rushing yards, 84.5 rushing yards, -115 odds at BetMGM. I really, really like backing Quinshon Judkins in this game. I was looking at the pumped up numbers like 90 plus, 100 plus. None of that stuff really even made sense. And even 100 plus, the odds weren't really worth it based on just being able to take a straight line over 84.5. So that's what we're rocking with here. I mean, this is a classic, what I like to call fade of recent results, positive regression type of spot. He went 80 plus yards in 3 straight games prior to last week. Twice in that stretch, he went to 90 plus. Last game, dreadful. 36 yards, 12 attempts. That's terrible. The previous 3 games, he had 18, 21, and 23 rush attempts. So I kind of think that the Browns are going to overcorrect from last week and give the ball a lot more to Quinshon Judkins. I mean, the only good thing their offense has going is him. Dillon Gabriel hasn't shown much at quarterback. They're down David Njoku on the tight ends. Their receivers aren't anything special. So I really think that we're going to see 20 plus attempts for Quinshon Judkins in this game. Now, in terms of the 84.5 number, he went over this in 2 of the last 3 games. He even went over against a really good Packers run defense. He went over, and then also against a really good Lions run defense, he came close with 82 yards. So he's really shown the ability more often than not to have a good game against really good run defenses. That is total opposite of what we're going to see here against the Dolphins, which are one of the worst run defenses in the entire NBA. They are absolutely dreadful. They have allowed literally number 1, the most rushing yards per game, specifically allowed to running backs, and they are tied allowing the most yards per carry as well. In terms of yards before contact, like how much push is the offensive line able to get? That's what this stat measures. 10th worst in the NFL. Yards after contact, they are the worst in the NFL. So being bottom 10 in yards before, being bottom 1 in yards after is a really, really bad combination. And you look at running backs against them, James Cook went over 100 against them, hit his over-under. The week after that, both Jets running backs, both Braylon Allen and Breece Hall, they both hit their rushing prop over against the Dolphins. 2 weeks ago, Rico Dowdle lit them up for over 200 yards. Last week, Kamani Vidal lit them up for over 100 yards. They've just been getting absolutely torched on the ground. So I'm expecting Quinshon Judkins to have a really good game in this one. I think that, again, the Browns are going to overcorrect. Dillon Gabriel attempted 50-plus passes last week. That's crazy. The books are pricing Judkins' rushing attempt number at over under 19.5. So you think that he's going to get 19, 20 carries. I think that it's pretty good asking him to get 85 yards. I think he easily could hit that 100-plus number. The odds just didn't make sense. But that's play number 1, backing Quinshon Judkins. Next up, our second play and the second of our two plays that we're not laddering or anything like that is Justin Jefferson over 78.5 receiving yards, minus 111 odds at DraftKings. You look at the games that he has played with Carson Wentz, especially the last two, 126, 123 yards, 11 targets in each of those games. So Carson Wentz is doing exactly what a backup quarterback should do. Hyper target the alpha superstar, possibly best receiver in the entire NFL. That's what we saw Joe Flacco do with Jamar Chase. You're the backup quarterback, just throw it to the best player. And even so, the last 2 weeks I mentioned he went over. Even if you go back to 3 weeks ago, which was Carson Wentz's first start with the Vikings, he didn't go over this number, but he did have 75 yards on 7 targets. Guess what? The Vikings won that game by 38 points. 38. They had 2 separate defensive touchdowns in that game. So yeah, he didn't go over 78.5. They won by 38 and scored twice on defense. Even though the Eagles are a total mess, I don't quite think that is going to happen. And this is an Eagles defense that is not even close to as good as they were last year. You look down their game logs, they've been lit up by number 1 receivers. Week 1, CeeDee Lamb, 110 yards. His over-under was in the 70s. Puka Nacua, 2 weeks after that, 112 yards. His over-under was 83.5. The week after that, Emeka Egbuka, 101 yards. His over-under was 57.5. Now, Egbuka scored on a broken 70-plus yard touchdown. That still counts. The week after that, Cortland Sutton, 99 yards, over-under 55.5. And then last week, the most recent game the Eagles have played, Wan'Dale Robinson, 84 yards. His over-under was 43.5. Their cornerback 2 spot has been a mess the entire year. Quinyon Mitchell looks like he is going to play this week. He has been practicing. Whether he lines up one-on-one and follows Justin Jefferson, whether he follows Jordan Addison and they try to do something more creative with Justin Jefferson, I just don't think it's going to matter. We've seen the Eagles defense try and not have success stopping number 1 options, and they've tried to do a bunch of things in the secondary, but with a rookie safety and a really bad whoever lines up opposite Quinyon Mitchell, I think Justin Jefferson is lined up to have a really good game on Sunday, so we're taking him over 78.5 at minus 111 odds at DraftKings. All right, and now for the third play, our first of 3 ladder plays as well. This is a Tyler Higbee ladder play, over 24.5 receiving yards for a full unit. Put a quarter unit on him to get to 40 plus as well at plus 235 odds. Absolutely love backing the Higbeast in this game. No Puka Nacua. He has been ruled confirmed out for this game. And you look at Higbee, even with Puka, who's getting an absolutely ridiculous target share, Higbee has gone over this 24.5 number in 3 of 4 games so far this year. Now, he had one really bad game where he had 2 targets, 0 receptions, 25 plus in all the other games. 4, 5, and 4 targets in those games as well, averaging about 60% of the snaps. Now, again, those target numbers are with Puka Nacua on the field. For someone we're only asking to get to 25 yards, I'm perfectly fine with him getting 4 or 5 targets. I'm guessing he's probably going to get another 5 plus targets in this one, and we will need the 5 targets to get to the 40 ladder. But he hit 40 yards last week, or his last game, which was also the first game in which Puka Nacua got hurt. He got hurt in the middle of that game against the Ravens, and then Higbee had a really good game. Now, if you don't know the backstory of Tyler Higbee, he's not like a Travis Kelce tight end or anything like that, but he's a decent tight end. Absolutely shredded his knee. The last game the Rams played of the 2023 season, the playoff game, destroyed his knee, tore multiple ligaments. He didn't return until December of last year, so he missed almost a full 12 months with this injury, full calendar year. His first 2 games back, he barely played, 20% of snap share. After that, he's played 8 games. He's hit 25 plus receiving yards in 6 out of those last 8 games, and he's gone 40 plus in 4 of those games as well. So he's been playing pretty well when he's been on the field, even since he has come back from that injury. And I get that a lot of people are going to want to pivot to Devontae Adams. The Jags are generally a pretty good matchup for the number 1 receiving option. I just like the low line of Tyler Higbee significantly more. You look at the Jags, really, really good run defense. Only 4 of 11 running backs against them have hit their rushing prop over. They've also allowed the 6th fewest rushing yards per game, 7th fewest over the last month. They've been good on the year. They've been good over the last month. But they're an average defense for tight ends. They're not like among the worst. They're also not anything scary as well. But you look at the tight ends against them and you compare it to what their over-under is, because if you play Brock Bowers and Travis Kelce, you're going to give up more yards to the tight end position. They've allowed 6 of 9, which is a very nice number, 6 of 9 tight ends have hit their receiving prop over against the Jaguars, including 4 of the last 5 over the last 4 games. So one game, multiple tight ends went over. So really good matchup backing Tyler Higbee. Really good situation, I should say, more so than the matchup backing Tyler Higbee. But I do like him to go over his main line and then a small quarter unit on him to hit 40 plus as well. Next up, we're going with another tight end play, another one that kind of feels pretty gross, but it's a Mason Taylor receiving yards ladder, taking a full unit on him to get to 40 plus, and then we're going quarter unit on him to get to 60 plus. Now this one, I get it. This feels incredibly gross. I said this for the Thursday night football video with how bad things have gone. Sometimes you need to get into the nasty, get into the muck. Worked well on Thursday night. Hopefully it works well for this one as well. Taylor coming off of just a horrific game last week. No other way to say that it was just really bad. Only 1 reception, 1 target in that game. The Jets offense had like negative net passing yards in that game. It was just terrible across the board. It's the Jets. That stuff's going to happen. It's especially going to happen against the Broncos. It's especially going to happen when you're playing in the overseas game. But you look at the 2 games prior to last week, 60 plus yards in both of those games, 7 targets and 12 targets in both of those games. So it's not like he's been bad all year. He was slow to start the year, but he's a rookie tight end, so that's okay. He was bad last week, which we can forgive, 1 bad game, but he's got a really, really good matchup against the Panthers, a much better matchup than what we saw against the Broncos, the Broncos last week. The Panthers, they've allowed the most receiving yards to tight ends in the entire NFL, literally number 1, and they have also allowed the second most schedule adjusted fantasy points to tight ends as well. So that all means when you look at like what projection does this player have, this tight end have, Panthers second most above the expectation. So they're a really good matchup for tight ends in general. Now, we targeted Jake Ferguson against them last week, burned us with the yards. That ended up being a George Pickens game. Ferguson did score. He just only got 3 targets and he caught all 3 and actually had a good game. He just wasn't used. But I mentioned George Pickens blew up in that game. That brings me to my next point. Guess who's out? The number 1 wide receiver for the Jets, Garrett Wilson. I mean, you look at this roster for the tight ends or for the wide receivers on the Jets, Josh Reynolds, Arian Smith, a bunch of random jabrones are starting at wide receiver for the Jets. So yeah, they're probably going to have to target Mason Taylor a lot. And I am not concerned about the Panthers dramatically changing their defense to stop Mason Taylor. It's not like Mason Taylor's Travis Kelce. They're probably just going to play their normal defense, and the reads are probably going to go to Mason Taylor a lot because there's nobody else to go to. And this Panthers team, they've been much, much better against the run. Last year, they had like the worst run defense in NFL history. This year, they've been really good. So teams have opted to throw at a lot higher rate against the Panthers. Like their pass rate above expectation is actually pretty high. So I think that Taylor's going to be pretty heavily targeted in this one. I wouldn't be shocked to see another 12 plus targets in this one. Pretty much out of necessity, getting us to the 60-yard, which would climb this full ladder for us this is the play 4. And then our last pick of the video is also our full ladder climb as well. It's a Cortland Sutton receiving yards ladder, taking his main line 53.5. And then we're going 80 plus and we're going 90 plus as well. So you look at Cortland Sutton. Right off the bat, look at his last 17 games, all played with Bo Nix. He has gone over 53.5 receiving yards in 13 of those last 17 games. This year specifically, he has gone over in 4 of these 6 games. So right off the bat, you just look at that and you just look at hit rate. Checks that box, right? Consistently goes over. Even the 90-yard ladder climb, which is the highest we're going for this. He's done that twice this year and in 7 of 17 games. That's pretty good considering we're getting plus 400 odds on him to go for 90 plus receiving yards. And you look at the matchup against the Giants, it's pretty much as good as it gets. Their secondary is a complete and utter mess. I get that there's a lot of excitement in New York. That's all because of the quarterback and it's all because of the running back. Their defense, specifically their pass defense, is an absolute mess. They have allowed 10 of 15 wide receivers to go over their receiving prop against them. Last week, the worst game I've ever watched in my entire life against the Eagles. Guess what? A.J. Brown went over his receiving yardage prop against the Giants. Devontae Smith, he went under. If you watch that game, Jalen Hurts missed a 90-yard touchdown. He was wide open, busted coverage. I could have made that pass to Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts missed it. If he had caught that, obviously he would have gone way over, and things would have looked a lot different in terms of how that game went in general, but didn't make me feel any better about this Giants defense. The week before last, both receivers, Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, went over. The week before, it was against the Chargers that Quentin Johnston blew up in that game. It wasn't a great game for Ladd or for Keenan Allen, but Quentin Johnston blew up. And you take a step back, you look at everything the Giants They've allowed the most receiving yards to wide receivers in the entire NFL, literally number one, even more than the Cowboys, who we all thought had the worst defense in NFL history. You look at the last month specifically, so you take out weeks 1 and 2, they've allowed the sixth most receiving yards to wide receivers, which is not the worst, but it's still bad. And kind of similar to Quinshon Judkins, I love this as a fade of recent results. The Broncos offense last week, even though they won, they couldn't do anything. Similar to that, related to that, Courtland Sutton, 17 receiving yards in that game. So yeah, your offense couldn't do anything, nor could your number one wide receiver. The last time we saw Courtland Sutton have a gross game was week 2. Guess what? He followed that up with 118 yards the following week. Now, I didn't ladder up to 110, just laddered up to 90. So I'll take 90 yards in this one, but I do think that's going to happen. I am pretty confident that Courtland Sutton is going to go off in this game. Rounding out our 5th and final pick of the video. And that's all we got. So 5 official plays for you guys. I have 5 official players we're backing, I should say, 3 of which we are taking on ladder climbs. It's been rough. Very confident when the season ends, we will be in the green with a respectable ROI. That needs to start now. So I appreciate, again, everybody who has been rocking with me. Like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the links in the description of the video, and have a good one.